Alexander Downer live from London. Thanks for joining us, Alexander. I noticed that under the old laws, today was the day that Britain was supposed to go to an election. Now, the rules have been changed and Rishi Sunak can go any time till January next year, but there's a bit of speculation he might go early. How seriously are people taking that he might go to the polls in June or July?
Well, today is the day of local government elections, including mayoral elections in places like Birmingham and Teesside, which is up in the northeast of England, where the Conservatives hold the mayoral positions. And so the argument goes that if the Conservatives do particularly badly in this election and particularly lose those key mayoralties, then there'll be a push on within the party to get rid of Rishi Sunak. And instead of him having to face that push in the party, he'll just call an election. That's the theory. In practice, I don't think any of that is going to happen. I think he will survive until the end of the year when the general election is much more likely to be held.
Yeah, it often plays out, doesn't it, in parliamentary systems when there's leadership tension. You suggest, oh, maybe they'll rush off to an election to head it off. We shall watch closely. I want to get your thoughts on the Rwanda policy. He's finally got that through Parliament. That was a hell of a struggle. This is a policy that you helped advise them on. And in many ways, it's copying some core elements of the Pacific solution. He's got it in place. Is it too early to see whether it's going to work at all?
Yes, it's way too early. There has been some evidence that the media has been focusing on of asylum seekers fleeing from the UK into Ireland and saying that they're going to Ireland because they don't want to be sent to Rwanda if they remain in the UK. But I think it's far too early to say, and it's going to depend on whether they will actually be able to implement it, because there will be all sorts of further legal appeals, this time to the European Court of Human Rights, which the UK has signed up to. So, I think there's a long way to go. The other thing is, having talked of the election, which I think will be at the end of the year, the Labor Party, like in Australia in 2007, says that they will scrap the Rwanda plan and just allow all these people to land in the UK. So we'll have to see, but I suspect they're really going to struggle to make this work over the next 6 months.
Now, of course, the polls are pretty firmly against the Conservatives, and Rishi Sunak's got a raft of problems. But how prominent, how dominant is the border protection issue? How concerned are Britons about immigration into their country?
They are concerned. I mean, the polling shows that the issue they're most concerned about is rising cost of living. The second issue they're most concerned about is housing, the expense of housing, both rentals and purchases. But the third issue they're concerned about is immigration. So it is a very substantial issue. And I suspect as the debate heats up again over the Rwanda plan, just as was the case in Australia back in the early 2000s and in the mid 2010s as well, the public will become really focused on it. Some people hugely against it. Probably most people, average punters, pretty much in favour of stopping people making these dangerous crossings, courtesy of people smugglers, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think it'll be a significant election issue, yes.